Good Shabbos, everybody. I have the honor of introducing our speaker today, Oren Heftetz. So Oren is here today speaking in his role with JNF as the Central Negev Task Force Overseer Manager. But he's had a very interesting career trajectory. He spent over 2 decades as a helicopter pilot in the IDF, rising to the rank of major. Is that right? Right. And also had responsibilities for integrating Israelis with special needs into the IDF. As we all know, we're a synagogue that strongly believes in inclusion, and that was a wonderful program that he was also involved in prior to his current role with the JNF, and I think you'll be hearing a lot about that. So our congregation has very strong support for JNF. The chapter president is Chuck Whitehill, a member, Ari Milgram, who's a staff person, though I don't remember your exact title, Ari, and of course Barry Feldman, who's a board member, correct? Yes, and thanks to Ari and Ben for making this happen. I also want to thank my husband because, as it turns out, Oren's father-in-law and my husband were classmates at the Reali in Haifa, and so made this connection, and then everyone else helped to make it happen. Without further ado, Oren.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, dear friends.
Just hold this chair now.
Now it's better? No?
Hold the chair now.
Okay. Now it's better? I can do it in Hebrew, right? I can. Shabbat Shalom, dear friends. My name is Oren Heftetz, and I'm so grateful and excited to be here today. And even my family is here with us on Zoom. And I decided to write it down today because everything is going on. So I'm very excited, so you will forgive me. Before I get started, I would like to thank a few people. First off, Barry Feldman, who I met in November in the JNF conference in Boston, and struck up an immediate friendship. So I want to thank you, Barry, for inviting me here, and for everything that you are doing for Israel. I also want to thank Chuck Whitehill, the Cleveland board president of JNF, who couldn't be here today, but maybe is on Zoom with us. And lately, I would like to thank Rebecca Dorman and Rabbi Rudin Loria for allowing me the opportunity to speak to all of you today. I'm so excited to be here in Cleveland. It's my first time, but I hope many more visits to come. I am 46 years old, married to Ila, and a father of 3 great children. Yuval, my oldest, is 16 and a half. Eyal is 13. And Nama, our princess, is about to turn 10 in May. I grew up in Herzliya, which is located between Tel Aviv and Haifa, and now we live in Even Yehuda, which is next to Netanya, not far from there. At the age of 18, I started my military service as a military police investigator. A year after, I graduated from officers' course school, and only after 3 years of service, I decided it's not enough, and I asked to try and be accepted for the Flight Academy. The Flight Academy course is the longest course in the Israeli Air Force and the whole military, actually. Back then it was 2 years, now it's 3 years, so it's a very long course. On the last day of the previous millennium, I got my flight wings as a helicopter pilot in the Israeli Air Force and started my 24 years of service in Palmachim Air Force Base, which is located 25 minutes south of Tel Aviv. Throughout my military career, I have attended many operations, including in the Second Lebanese War. My 2 brothers, who are younger than me, and by the way, don't look like me at all, so I don't ask a lot of questions about that, also served as a combat fighters And for 6 years, we served at the same time, so not much sleep for my mom during this few years. My career as a pilot included happy and sad moments, but I won't get into the details this time, but maybe next time. My last position was the deputy commander of Palmachim Air Force Base. In the base, we have around 4,000 soldiers that are serving and few dozen civilians, and it's considered to be one of the most operational bases in Israel. While serving as a deputy, I got to know a unique program that called Special Uniform. This program helps kids with special needs and special needs to volunteer and draft to the army. Until 2013, these young teenagers couldn't be a part of the biggest melting pot of Israel society, and it is a truly remarkable achievement. A triple win that allows these amazing people to do their part with their own age friends while their families can live and work in a normal way, or at least close to that, and give the rest of the soldiers an opportunity to live and learn about how is it to deal with challenges as a special needs person. Helping this program grow, I got to know the Jewish National Fund USA that supports it and met many donors that visited to the base. I realize that some of you are here, so hi to you too. It was about 5 or 6 years ago. When I met Russell Robinson, the CEO of the Jewish National Fund, I asked him what JNF USA vision and goals are, and if it's the same like Keren Kayemet LiYisrael. He told me that the Jewish National Fund is a non-profit, a non-political organization, totally different and separated from the Keren Kayemet LiYisrael, that was established in 1901, and its mission is to build a strong, vibrant future for the land and the people of Israel through bold initiatives and Zionist education. So it's kind of, for me, it sounds like Ben Gurion's, but if you know Russell, in a bigger version of Ben Gurion, physically, and I was interested to find out if it's real or not. And I decided to take a week off and join one of their missions in Israel. We don't have enough time now for me to explain how overwhelmed I was, seeing the vision and the plan becoming a reality both in the north and in the south of the country. It is not easy to live in Israel. We have challenges within and from the outside, and it was the most amazing feeling to see so many positive things and projects and people in 1 week of traveling. From investing in the next generation connection to the roots done by Alexander Mas High School in Israel, through developing the Negev and the area and the Arava, supporting the people with employment, housing, water and agriculture, education, and community building, to Tikkun Olam by teaching with third world countries students how to build better irrigation and systems and grow healthier food in their communities. And for those who are not familiar with Alexander Mas High School is JNF's study abroad high school in Israel, located in Hod HaSharon, which is in the center of the country, and now we are expanding also to Be'er Sheva. It's an incredible semester-long program for sophomores, juniors, and seniors to experience Israel in an intense and unique way, while experience Israel and also getting a first-class education complete with AP classes and extracurriculars. And for students who aren't ready to spend a full semester, 14 weeks in Israel, there are mini-masters and summer programs too. I truly believe that's the best way for the high schoolers to get to know Israel and their roots and stay connected forever. I was about to finish my service, and I decided that this thing didn't happen by chance. I understood that it is the best thing that happens in Israel, and joined the Jewish National Fund as a shaliach in Northern California at the beginning of 2020. I and my family moved to bring this knowledge to the West Coast. Unfortunately, a nasty virus challenged my mission, but still I was able to do it pretty well. We got back to Israel at the end of 2021, and I continue to work for the Jewish National Fund USA, and I'm in charge of the Central Negev area that contains few communities and municipalities like Mitzpe Ramon, Yerucham, and Ramat HaNegev. Our goal is to help these communities prepare for the growth of the country by investing in different projects they need our help with. As you know, the population in Israel, we are 9.4 million people now, and by 2050, we're going to be 16 million. For those of you who haven't been in Israel lately, I can tell you that there's not much space in the center of the country. This is our golden decade to fulfill Ben-Gurion's vision to populate the Negev. 20 years ago, Jewish National Fund USA had a vision to create a strategy it calls Blueprint Negev. It came out of the recognition that in order for Israel to survive and thrive into the future, Israel is needed to be able to move from the crowded center of the country into the Negev. Over the past 20 years, JNF has invested in projects and affiliates all over the Negev, from the Arava in the east to the Gaza envelope in the west, and the area that I oversee, the Central Negev. There's a common thread in everything JNF is doing in the region, whether it's building an indoor playground in Sderot, a medical center in the Arava, or a fire station in Mitzpe Ramon. Everything JNF does in the region is in the service of making the desert bloom. We are now building two amazing projects in the Central Negev. The first is the Hara Negev Search and Rescue Center that will allow the rescue units that are built by volunteers to have a place to train, educate, and take care of their equipment. We have more than 2 million people touring the Negev every year, and unfortunately, accidents occur in the desert area. This facility will help to save lives and take better and quicker care of those who are injured. And it's about to be open at the end of April during JNF's 75th celebration mission to Israel. The second project is in Mitzpe Ramon, the Mitzpe Ramon Innovation Center. It will allow local entrepreneurs to develop their businesses in the Negev and keep them in the area instead of them moving to the center, densely populated and Tel Aviv area. I assume most of you get the info about what's going on in Israel through the news and the social media. That means that you hear only about 1 to 2% of what is happening in our homeland, and it's mostly not great news, I can guess. So Israel is in a very unique situation, and the whole country is a part of the effort to make sure that the intentional reform in the legal system will serve our homeland democracy and won't jeopardize it. I do believe that all sides will find a way to do that in the next few weeks. We are also dealing with some extremist Palestinians that want to sabotage our joint living in Israel. They won't succeed. They won't succeed like they haven't so far. It is important for me to tell you that in the same time, when you hear everything is going on in Israel, we are continuing to building our country for all Jewish people all over the world. Anti-Semitism is raising its head in many different places in the world, and we all need a strong and diverse homeland. I want to wish us all Shabbat Shalom, peace, and thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
Oren, Toda Rabba. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for coming here to our community on behalf of JNF. And Oren's going to be speaking after our Kiddush, a smaller Q&A session to get to know more about the JNF products, for his own work, perhaps your own life story, and Israel. So Toda Rabba. Thank you so much, Oren. It's very fitting that Oren spoke to us today. Our Parsha, Vayakel Pikude, is the completion of the construction project, the national construction project of the Mishkan, the tabernacle. In the middle of the desert, our ancestors built a home. And only when they could build that home could we formally enter the land of Israel. And thanks to Oren, thanks to JNF, you are helping build that home for us. Very fitting for our Parsha. I also want to acknowledge and recognize we have many members, as Rebecca said, part of JNF. We have past leaders, current leaders, all throughout our room. So, Oren, I hope you get the opportunity to meet them if you haven't, and we're grateful for all that you do. And with that, we're going to continue in our service. Jody's going to lead us. We rise for Musaf.